but it wouldn't be nothing, nothing without a woman or girl. Ooh, you see, man made the car to take us over the road. Man made the train.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Purpose and passion loading. It's my time.
It is, fellas.
We up.
Fellas.
Happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday. Man, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's
good
been
to
a
see y'all,
minute,
man.
Man, it's great to see y'all, man.
We always
back.
end, but love and appreciate. About to say both of you, but all of you.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
man.
It's been crazy. I don't know if y'all saw earlier. I kind of went in as we was testing, went in the group and just kind of share how the last few weeks have been. They've been tested.
Quite challenging.
They've been quite challenging, man.
Don't test my gangster this early.
I just wanted to applaud folks for continuing to engage.
No doubt.
In what we're doing here, what we got on, and just kind of let them know, hey, we back, man.
No
It's
doubt
been a
about
few
it.
weeks, but mentally, I think we needed to reset, refresh. So we back here to stay on, bro. Let's go. What we talking about? What we got tonight?
Comes first.
Yes, sir. Family over
always
everything.
comes first.
Facts.
So welcome to the King's Cutting Board. Happy Friday Eve, ladies and gentlemen. We never take it lightly when you choose to give us any of your time, energy, or attention. Before we jump into it, I'll introduce myself. I am Victor Vaughn. The gentleman to my left, sitting in the middle, goes by
Bruce Bailey, Choir Boy. What's good, folks?
and the gentleman to our left, Mr. Murray Mack, all dressed in black,
Oh man,
goes by
Don Chico, Caprice.
like going on.
Good to see you, homie.
Good.
Yeah, man.
Good
It's
to
been a
see
minute.
you.
It's been a minute.
It's been.
Back.
I
though.
mean,
Yeah, because
Back
you
in
missed a
black,
couple
back
of
in black.
shows.
Did.
prior
Before,
to-
yeah.
some
Back in
good,
black.
some not so
Yeah.
good. Take the good,
Life.
you take the bad, you take them
Life,
both, and there
life,
you have
life.
Life,
the facts of
man,
life.
But I'm here. I'm blessed.
No doubt about
You know
it.
what I mean?
That's what matters.
You can't
bro.
lose your faith. So
That's
you
what
keep
matters.
moving forward. You know what I'm
You
saying?
talking good in that, Doc.
Yeah.
Love you, bro. You know
no-
you've been
no-
on our
no
mind.
question,
We've been
no
thinking
question.
about you.
Facts.
Appreciate
Praying
it.
for you.
All of that.
Appreciate y'all,
Sir,
man.
for
I
sure.
do. I really do, man. So
I gotta show you. It's a whole separate subject. I gotta show you the video I sent Caprice earlier today.
Oh, stuff we do offline.
That's a whole separate.
We can't share with
it's
y'all.
about,
I
it's
just
about
say-
something that we talk about
Ro-
before, but hey,
roast beef.
Inside
Man.
joke.
I was in tears.
Inside
I was in tears. But
So-
when you sent me that, I was in tears.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are the King's Cutting Board. Let me first say what we are not.
Mhm.
We are not clickbait. We are not run of the mill. We are not the norm. We pride ourselves on having a different level and elevation of conversations other than what's going on
Facts.
out here in the world, especially as it pertains to relationships, specifically as it pertains to race relationships between Black men and Black women. We came together, right, under the direction of our executive producer, who just said, I think that the three of you all have something to say, something that people, especially Black women, would benefit from hearing. The thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the fears, the concerns, the dreams, what upsets us, right? What makes us happy, because typically we don't talk.
Correct.
We hold it all in. And so this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, is really just an extension of our lives. The conversations that we have amongst each other literally all day, every day. We said if we were going to do it, that we had to make a difference and we wanted to make an impact. And so our sole purpose is literally to create healthy dialogue, to cause men and women to lean in, to get a better understanding of who each other are, what direction you're going in.
Facts.
What's the purpose in your relationship for the betterment and the advancement of those relationships? So it truly is all about love. Sometimes our topics are funny.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes not so much. Sometimes we get passionate and pound the table and get in trouble.
Yes, yes,
Right.
all the time, all the time.
What I
Pound this
Don't
one.
pound the
Pound this
table.
one.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that none of this is pre-rehearsed. All of our conversation, all of our opinions, all of our perspectives are real, genuine, and we're first partakers. The things that we talk about and what we believe lead to healthy relationships are things that all of us are doing with our children, with
Facts.
the women that we love, and the people that mean the most to us. And so we hope that you're better after listening to us for the next little while. So this evening topic, I got to keep it a buck, fellas. Like when this was sent to us by our executive producer, who, be clear, ladies and gentlemen, thinks she's the whole boss of all of us.
Everybody.
And she is.
Constantly trying to tell us what to do.
Everybody.
She keeps us on point though, so we're
Definitely
gonna
does.
keep her around for a little while. You're still on your
while.
probationary period. Yeah. When she
The
sent
ink's
this
still,
one,
the ink's still wet.
He's still wet. He's still
we
wet.
reserve the right to change our mind at any given
Right.
time. When she sent this one, I gotta keep it a buck. Like, what the hell is
Yeah,
this,
bro?
Yeah,
And then-
I was, yeah.
So-
I can't fake. I was like, what?
These notebooks in
It's a
front
good
of
one,
us
though.
aren't props. We don't get on here and talk about what we don't know about. What we don't
Facts.
feel like we have something to contribute.
Right.
We literally legitimately do our homework before opening our mouths to talk about a subject. And so I started like, this is a lot. This is complicated. This is
deep.
I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, this is too much.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
it made me feel stupid, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to my lady, and she was like, well, what is it? I was like, I don't really know.
Right.
And I was like,
Right.
And I handed her my phone, and these videos started playing, and she was like, well, babe, this is actually kind of interesting. And I was
Exactly.
like,
It was.
it is?
Exactly.
It was.
And so her interest in it got my interest in it, right?
Right,
And then
right.
I started paying attention. I found some videos and some texts that made it easier to understand. So we pride ourselves, on speaking in a way in which people can relate to
Yep,
it.
right.
So we got a little bit of work ahead of us to make sure this one is clear and folks get it. You're always the conductor, the maestro.
I think my man over here was trying to jump
You
in.
gonna lean in?
I
You
think
gonna jump in? You want to lead
you
us off
know,
this evening?
I think this touch on things that we ourselves didn't know about ourselves.
That's a fact,
I would
bro.
agree with
You know
That's
what I mean?
a fact,
'Cause
Jack.
and once I started looking into it, reading, watching videos and things like that, I was like, damn, that's me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But it also helped me to identify others that, you know what I mean, whether it be from the past or
Yes.
present
Yes.
that I may date, deal with,
Yep.
what have you.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
sounds like that's her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
And so that's it was very helpful. So I'm actually happy because, like I said, I was the same way as you, Vic. I was like, what the? Oh man, she tripping.
Yeah.
I was like, look, I said, I gotta call Bruce. He gotta get a hold on her because this is ridiculous.
Forgive me, fellas. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I apologize.
No,
I
you
forgot
Mhm.
forgot to speak about our social media. So, ladies and gentlemen, please know you can follow us on Facebook. You can find us on the King's apostrophe S Cutting Board Podcast, which we are live up in that Facebook group now. Also through YouTube at the King's Cutting Board 2024. Please don't just like, please don't just love. Also, if you appreciate what we're doing, what we're talking about, please follow as well as share with
Definitely.
other people. The more, the merrier.
Definitely.
Right.
You were saying?
So so basically in a nutshell, I started learning more about which particular attachment style I was.
Okay.
You gave up
And
the
it
goods. We
wasn't-
didn't
we didn't even say it
we
yet.
didn't even throw it out yet.
It's all right. You
It's
go
too
ahead.
late. It's
My
cool.
bad.
It's all right. It's
My
cool.
bad. My bad.
No,
But,
you good. You good.
It's actually up on the screen. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I also found out that I'm not just one.
Mhm.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not
Facts.
just one.
Facts.
And a lot of people, if they know of this, they may come to the same conclusion. I'm not just one, I'm, more than one, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, this is the more I want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
I want to look more into it
Facts.
because it can be extremely helpful in your relationships.
Yeah. let me since we're sharing,
Yeah.
before you get into it, So it was interesting for us because we went to a Marriage Made Easy,
Okay.
which is
Mhm.
a session that our ministry has
Mhm.
every, I believe, fourth Friday of the month or something like that.
Mhm.
So we went and they had Shawnee and her husband. Shawnee is or was Shaq's
Yeah.
previous wife,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
and she's now remarried to a renowned pastor.
Very good. A
Mhm.
lot of good content.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
So
was
they
checking them out the other day, but go ahead.
yeah, so
Sorry.
they were at the ministry and they brought up this topic attachment style.
Okay.
Now it was foreign to me.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it,
I
bro.
never heard of
Mhm.
And I consider myself
Facts.
pretty insightful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when he brought it, I was like, what in the world? And Di, she was just like raving, like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, you know about what is this?
When I say never heard
Never,
the term,
bro.
never heard the
Never
term.
heard
Never.
that term. I've
Never.
never did.
Right?
What?
Totally oblivious.
Yeah.
So when I heard it, I'm like, okay. And as they started talking about their different attachment styles,
Okay.
I was like, wow, this is super interesting.
Okay.
So immediately after that, just as you two guys did,
Mhm.
went and done some research, looked up some stuff, kind of listened to Di. She shared her, her thoughts about it. And then we had an insightful conversation between the two of us once I
Okay.
got more informed and educated about it.
Mhm.
And I was at awe.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy to your point, how you identify with these attachment styles that you never knew made this type of difference in relationship.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Facts.
So yeah,
So I
but
got to keep it a buck, right? So first of all, we done upgraded.
Yo, this whole
the new
I'm
equipment just
digging
because
this.
the mics.
I'm
you
digging
lied,
this, bro.
You lied?
I'm digging this. Y'all
No,
look good, man.
I had the more I delved into it, I had mixed feelings about it, right?
Mhm.
I like to think I'm pretty bright. And initially looking at this, I didn't feel bright. Like I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that's why I said this is dumb, because it was making me
Yo,
feel
it
dumb.
felt overwhelming at
It
times.
was absolutely overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And in my mind, I'm like, growing and working to positively impact a relationship shouldn't. I literally felt like this was like counselor, therapist level.
Right.
content
Absolutely.
and dialogue. And that's okay, right? And so what I would say, while I found it interesting, it made me like want to be cautious that we don't go too far.
Mhm.
I'm proud of the fact that I believe we're in a time and a space in which we're becoming more aware and cognizant of who we are, especially quote unquote good people, good men, good women who want to properly love the person that they're with.
Mhm.
There's work to do. I don't feel like our parents had these conversations.
Right. Facts.
You know what I mean? Especially especially for our people, we're in our first generation of even acknowledging,
Right.
much less dealing with mental health.
Definitely.
Right.
And so while I like this, on the flip side, I almost wanted to be careful about us going too far
Mhm.
with, because when you start categorizing
Yeah.
and segmenting
Yeah.
and well, my love language is this and my
Right,
attachment
right,
style
Right.
is
Right.
like,
You're
you
doing
need a
too
whole
much.
damn
Absolutely.
cue card with
Yeah,
you
you're
before we
doing
get into
too
a
much.
relationship.
Too
So
much.
so
Right.
let's absolutely know who we are and how we are so we can love each other properly. But let's not get so carried away with the
Mhm.
labels and the
Mhm.
diagnosis and
Right.
the categories that we're more focused on that than actually
Mhm.
loving each
Right.
other, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
I
that
agree.
makes complete sense.
I agree.
Because even as I was looking at the 4 attachment styles,
Yeah.
I was sharing with you even before we went live that I don't feel like I'm any of them, but I feel like I'm all of them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel
can see that.
feel like I've been all of them. You know what I
I can see
mean?
that.
And
That's a good one, because
Yeah.
it's like going through you know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you have different phases of life, and
right.
you know,
Absolutely.
Right.
it's
right.
also predicated on the person that you may be partnering with.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
There you
all
go.
of those things kind of trigger an attachment style. Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
you know something that's
So a
funny?
light bulb
When
went
you
on.
just said that.
I had to let him go,
Right,
bro.
because here's the thing, right? you could be confident and secure
Yes.
throughout,
Yes.
and you can meet
Oh,
one.
you
Yes.
just want to be
and that one
you want to
Yes.
be transparent out the
Yes.
gate tonight, huh?
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Tell it all.
You meet
Yeah.
that
Keep it
one
a buck.
person, and you
That's
like,
a fact, Jack.
damn, she making me feel insecure, and you trying to figure out
That's
why.
a fact. That's a
And it
fact.
may not have anything to do with another dude.
At all.
It could
At
just
all.
be how she is, how she moves, how she thinks, how she views life,
So
how she just see
all
things.
right,
So
Facts.
since you got us
Fact.
naked out here in these streets, right? we did say that we were going to give input on men's perspectives, what we think, what we feel, what we fear. So, right, if we keep it a buck, not all men have options when it comes to the women that they interact with, right? A lot of men interact with who they can, not who they want.
Mm.
And those things aren't the same,
Mhm.
right? That is what it is, and it'll always be that way. But as a man, if you are of the stature, right, of the financial well-offedness, that's not a term, I just made it up, right?
Fair
Whatever,
enough. Sounds good.
talent,
Sounds
position,
good.
whatever the case may be, whatever may draw women to you, and you have options, and you move like that, when you come across one like she's the one,
Yeah.
and you move different, it feels it's real. I'm not okay right
Yeah.
now, because if you're going to be real in that moment and love that woman out loud and really truly choose to be with her, man, you're vulnerable in a way in which is not okay with you.
Yeah. So we're all the way in the game at this point.
It's gross.
So let me go back
Yeah.
for a minute, because we are literally all the way in the game.
All right, right on.
So, as you clearly have probably recognized, tonight's episode is going to be attachment styles.
Attachment style.
Right.
Right. I think it's important that we talk about where this term attachment style came from.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. So, as we were doing some research, we discovered that there are 4 types of attachments, right?
Right.
4 attachment styles. The attachment styles was birthed from attachment theory.
Right.
Okay. So this attachment theory really explores how early relationships, particularly with primary caregivers, shape how we connect and bond with others later in life, right? So developed initially by a British psychologist, John Bowlby, I think his name is, in like 1950, somewhere around there. The theory proposed that attachment serves as an involuntary function, keeping infants close to the caregivers to increase survival chances. Okay. Now, Mary Ainsworth, strange situation study. She's known for that particular study. In the 1970s, she's also a psychologist as well. She expanded on this, and through strange situation experiment, which identified different ways children responded to separation and reunion with caregivers, this study gave rise to the distinct attachment styles based on the child's reaction. Now, I like that, because this is the part where I believe we was like, yo, this is a lot.
To your point.
Yo, I'm like, yo,
Even you just reading it and we know about it, I still was like,
I'm like, yo, like what's happening right now?
why did
Yep.
God send us this crap?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this helped me. So in essence, an attachment style is a pattern of behavior
Mhm.
you follow in a relationship. A person's style can be healthy and positive,
Yep.
or it can lead to them to act in ways that don't benefit them or the person that they love.
Yeah.
And these patterns of behavior, to your point, you said a really, really key word, involuntarily.
Yeah.
Which means we really didn't have a choice in the matter, because these things, these feelings, the attachment, the lack thereof, and then what that causes or creates in us was something that was formed in childhood.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
That's where most of it is coming
It
from.
is.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you said earlier, childhood development,
Yeah.
which is key.
And
You
I'm
know what I mean?
what for me, what was I found a little strange was that it was about a relationship between the child
Yeah.
and the caregiver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, that's you're talking early stages,
Early
bro.
childhood development.
Like these are things that we deal with early on
Facts.
that culminate over years
Absolutely.
and years of things that we've now compounded, if you will, on top of everything else that we've experienced in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how do you now navigate and maneuver through all of this, knowing that as a child, I was faced with some of these attachment styles and had no idea what they meant.
Here's go ahead. No, go ahead, bro.
Well, I just think a lot of times
Not gonna use that.
well, it might be picking me up. It's a good mic, you know.
It
It's
is,
new,
it
they
is.
fresh. I thought it was picking me up.
Shout out to
but
Bezel for recommending the mic.
Back,
yes,
free
indeed,
back.
you, brother.
Yes, indeed. I just think that the way early childhood development can affect a person has a lot to do with let's say picking and choosing the right caregiver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the wrong caregiver, sit the baby down, walk away, baby cry, and that's that detachment.
Mhm,
You know what I mean?
mhm.
But then you may have that caregiver that's, and walk around and doing things with the baby in that bond.
Yeah.
I know that she's not going to leave me or he's not going
Yeah.
to leave me. He got me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's very important in the sense that folks, now this is a message to the young folks that are having kids because I'm not having any more kids.
We shall
No,
see.
that's right.
Oh
We
my
shall.
God,
The
this
jury
dude
is
here.
still out.
This dude here.
The jury is still out, bro.
Not having any more. Anyway, it's very important, young folks, with newborns and toddlers and things of that nature, that you work on what we're talking about in developing those attachment patterns, the healthy ones, because what you can do is create a child that turns out to be narcissistic
Mhm.
by making them feel a certain type of way as a child, and as they get older it developed into that. So you can avoid that. It's not like this child was born a narcissist,
Right,
you
right,
know what I
right,
mean?
right.
You can avoid all of those different types of things that
Right.
they, issues that they may, grow up with just by, paying attention.
I agree.
Giving that little extra.
Yep. So let me give the four styles. Let me give the 4 attachment styles, and then we're gonna kind of get into the meat and potatoes. I know my man to my right was ready. I know I see his gun is actively loaded, and the trigger sign is off. So you have first, number 1, secure attachment. Okay, secure attachment, and you talked about what attachment styles
Right.
is. We're gonna get into shortly each of those individual attachment
Sure.
styles. So number 1, secure attachment. Number 2, anxious attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Number 3, avoidant attachment.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4, disorganized attachment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me give it to you again. Number 1, secure attachment. Number 2, anxious attachment. Number 3, avoidant attachment. And number 4, disorganized attachment. Let me ask the question to each of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
See which one of these we can attack first. Which one of those 4 do you believe you are?
Secure.
You
See
petty.
what I did? See what I did?
Went straight in for the
Straight in.
kill.
Bow.
Yeah. I feel like I'm secure. The secure.
Okay.
attachment style.
Talk to us.
It is here's what I do like about this, right? Like I said, I feel like this is complicated and weighty. However, right, what I do appreciate about it is we had a previous episode where we called it basically, are you sleeping with a stranger?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm quite certain of, there are people who absolutely love each other, who are in love, that are married, who have children, who've been together 10 or 15 years, who will go to sleep and wake up tomorrow morning to someone who they have no idea
Don't recognize.
Who they are.
or why they are who they are.
Yeah.
They don't know they don't know that they're sleeping with a woman who dealt with sexual abuse in their childhood. She doesn't know that she's in love with a man who may have been mishandled or mistreated or raped by his aunt or babysitter, which happens to men way more than we ever talk about, right? They don't understand what they may have seen growing up. And all they deal with the fruit and not the root. They deal with, man, she be tripping. She's always fussing. Why is she so clingy? Like, I just want to go hang out with the boys and not understand what's at the root of this matter. So I'm glad we're having these types of conversations in the hopes that it simply causes people to lean in. And so for me, I feel like I'm secure, and I know we'll read the definition of each one, but it really goes back to my childhood and how I grew up in what I consider a very loving, balanced home, where I identified not only my mother but my father, both of them as nurturers. You know what I mean? My father hugged and kissed me and told me I loved him, and was affectionate and playful, and I model those things. Not only in my relationships with my children, but in my relationship, I'm very expressive. You know what I mean? My father told me, I've heard stories of men who said, my father never told me he loved me. He said, we don't say stuff like that. My father always told me he loved me, kissed me on my cheek. You know what I mean? And so I do that even now with my nephews. Every time I see him, I hug him, I kiss him, I love him. You know what I mean? And so all of those things. And so I don't want to get too deep, but yeah, but for me, secure attachment style is what I'm most aligned with.
So the characteristics of secure attachment, people with a secure attachment style tend to feel comfortable with intimacy, right? They can communicate their needs effectively, and really they have a trust. They trust others while maintaining independency.
Yes.
And if I know anything about you, I would agree with what you just said, right?
Yeah.
I would agree wholeheartedly with what you just said. The origin of this particular style is a secure attachment style, usually develops when caregivers are constantly responsive to the child's needs, fostering confidence and safety.
Absolutely.
You literally just said that.
Absolutely.
About your parents.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So we could see how that attachment style has culminated to, now this better version, moving to the best version of who you are now.
Absolutely.
You follow what I'm saying?
And to your point, you said a key word, you said fostering, right? Creating. And you talked about this when you were talking to the youngins about what type of environment you're providing. So being now 49 and looking back, I grew up middle class existence. Everything wasn't peaches and cream, but what my parents fostered. So when I think about it, I remember my mother shopping at Marshall's so that I could go to Four Dudes Cavalier.
Oh, y'all had money.
And
they had money. I remember Morton's.
I remember Morton's too, though.
Boy.
Tom
AJ,
McCann's.
Okay.
All of that. No, don't get it twisted, right? I remember my mother getting her hair done by her girlfriend in our kitchen as opposed to going to the hairdresser, so that my brothers and I could wear the shoes and the clothes that we wanted to, right? And so I thought I grew up in a very Huxtable-like existence, but it had everything, to your point, it had everything to do with the environment, the experience that my mother and father wanted for their boys that
Right. Me, myself, I would say it's a mixture.
Okay. And
my mixture probably would be secure and anxious.
So go ahead, define anxious before he gets into. I think it'll make it more interesting.
So so anxious. Okay. Individuals may crave closeness but worry about abandonment or rejection, leading to clingy or independent behaviors in relationships.
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt. Because when I'm with someone, I want to be with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why when going through, this and learning, I was like, oh man, like we said in the beginning, when attachment, what?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then after watching a couple of videos and researching and looking at some things and reading some things, like, damn, yeah, they talking about me on this.
Yeah.
I'm looking at y'all like y'all trying to find something out.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they probing, they trying.
But yeah, and so and being honest with myself, you know what I mean, and opening up, you know what I mean, because you can be, especially with things that occurred, you know what I mean, in that room, in those four walls by yourself, you have time to think.
Yeah.
And while you're thinking, so many things run through your mind. And one of the things is what happened, the abandonment. And it wasn't their fault. You know, it's life.
Yeah.
But that's, man.
So here's what I, and we were talking about this before we came on. Here's what I will ride with you on, right? And so as men, like I said, who have options, right? And who with women they choose to be with, love, appreciate, spend their time around. You know, all of us can say at different stages that we didn't want that. We were single, very happy being single, not playing games, saw who we saw, moved how we moved.
Right.
But again, when you find the one, it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Where you going? Like, what you mean you going home? Right. And so I can identify with that because you spend so much time not allowing yourself in that space. When your heart is there, it's a degree. Yeah, it's a naked vulnerability that we're not all the way all right.
Right.
So for me, and so my wife actually said that she identified me with one of them. I can't even remember which one it was. When she comes back down, I'm gonna ask her. But as I looked through the different ones, I was like, nah, I can't really see. And you know, we always talk about self-awareness,
right.
identifying, you know, where you are. And I would encourage you guys to identify where you are with respect to these attachment styles. I also think it's equally important to encourage you guys to Victor's point, not to be boxed in as a label one of those characteristics as well.
Yeah. Be who you are.
Be who you are. For me, I felt as though I was none of them, but I was all of them.
Okay.
Right. At some point,
I'm curious. Keep going.
Yeah, at some point, because again, like we started off, I believe these attachment styles can be triggered by the person that you're with.
No doubt about it.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was with my prior wife, I wouldn't say that I had an insecurity problem.
Okay.
Right. Or concern.
Okay.
However, with Di, I felt
that's interesting.
Some insecurity in myself.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And just to your point, I'll expound on it. My previous wife, she didn't move like a dude.
Right on. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now this relationship with Di and somebody who moves like a dude, that presents a whole nother challenge for guys. Right?
It does.
And most guys don't know how to manage that.
Yep.
What I took away from that is just what I said. You can be all of them, but none of them at the same time. You follow what I'm saying? So
can't be clamped down to one.
It's I don't think, while it's great to identify if there's an individual one that you relate to or that you are, that's great. But I think it's equally important to understand that you may not just be one of those. You follow what I'm saying?
No, that's true.
So Di, while you here, I know you're off camera, but you identified me with one of those attachment styles, and we had a conversation about it. Do you recall which one it was?
Can you repeat the second one?
Yes. So the different styles, the first one was secure attachment style. That was the first one. I'm sorry. The second one.
So it's also important to highlight that everybody should aim to get the secure attachment style. So go to the second one.
Okay. The anxious attachment style, avoidant attachment style, and then disorganized attachment style.
So read the definition of the
Okay, so the first one is people with a secure attachment style tend to feel comfortable with intimacy, can communicate needs effectively, and trust others while maintaining independence.
Okay.
The second one was anxious. Individuals may crave closeness, but worry about abandonment or rejection, leading to clingy or dependent behaviors in relationships. That one? See, and that's what I'm saying. So while I think I didn't feel as though I necessarily was the anxious attachment style,
Yeah.
I absolutely have some anxious attachment style characteristics.
Right.
And I noticed it, right? And it really was triggered by now the person that I was with.
Yeah.
But I never identified it
Yeah.
until this moment.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think it's important that you understand that even as you move through life with different types of relationships, you encounter different people, you have different type of relationship, whether work, whether partnership, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You may be all of these, but none of them at the same time.
Same time.
Here's where it
Right.
gets even more interesting, right? So to your point, the person that you're with can either trigger or rectify
Facts.
that style,
Facts.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can manifest itself in a way. But if we're with the person that we're really purposed to be with, we should. I know I know the woman that I love is getting a different version of me than anybody else
Yes.
ever had,
No question.
right? And so I
Lucky-
can
lucky
see
die.
how
Lucky die.
I can see how, right? So right, if we just somehow anxious, right? While nobody else has experienced me that way, right? Because I just may not have been that into them or whatever, or been at a different place or space in life. When you find somebody that you want to and supposed to be with,
Mhm.
you absolutely want more of them.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I can see how you may have moved this way with, okay, I'll see you whenever,
Right.
tomorrow or
Yeah,
next
yeah.
week or what. But when you meet that one,
That's what I'm saying.
that balances you out, that makes you better,
secure
that,
go out the
that
door, bro.
motivates you. Is like, nah, where you going?
Right.
Get
Like,
open.
stay right here,
Right here.
right? And it may
Wide open.
seem
And
like,
clean. Like, yo, where you going?
but I think that's different than the attachment style itself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, and that's
no,
where I think we got to be careful.
no, it makes a lot of sense. And that's kind of what I'm trying to articulate. I think that says something crucial is that everybody aim should be for secure attachment.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
I think as we move through these attachment styles, it's important for our partner to be able to identify
Yeah.
where we are at that moment.
And it's
Right.
also not negative.
It's definitely
Correct.
not
None of it
negative.
is.
not.
None
Thank
of it is.
It's just information.
It's
it's
identification.
information.
Right,
Information.
Right.
It's data.
It's a-
That's it.
so, and you have a mental health background. So this is what I just thought of.
Oh God,
right?
why did you say that?
I don't know why.
Pump
She
her
not-
up. Look at her neck.
Why
stuff.
why would he do that?
This may be a good line of delineation, right? Whether
That's how you feel.
and see if
I know. Right?
you brought up an SAT word
You know,
earlier.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Unbelievable.
Really,
What are we doing?
really, dog.
What are we doing?
Good for that.
What are we doing?
That's how you gonna do.
1300.
That's how you gonna
Really?
do.
1300. SAT.
You know what that made me think
Oh,
about?
okay.
That made me think about the episode when you kept chiming in with the serial flirt.
Oh.
He was dying in this joke, right? So, what may be the difference maker, and see if you all agree, see what you think, is are you that way with a person or are you that way with everybody?
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you are like that with because this is literally your rib.
Right.
You recognize this as the woman you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life. You need her. She completes you. She floats you. But whatever that may be, it's only right that you always want her near because she's a part of you. Versus if you're that way with your children, your co-workers, your mother, you understand what I'm saying? To me, if you're that style, you don't get to pick and choose how that shows up. And I just thought about that, but I think it's important. So y'all can kind of
But I
jump
think-
in and
I think depending on
Got
the
me thinking
stage
now.
in your life, I
Yep.
think depending on the stage in your life, things adjust. You know what I mean? So you can start off, like you said, being that way with everybody,
yeah,
but then that one person sticks out and you're that way, but you're that way
yeah.
to where it's like, yeah, he's not hanging around a lot,
Oh.
but not like this way, the way he is with that one. You know what I mean?
When you meet someone and it's hard for you to function when they're not in your presence,
Come on, dog.
right?
Come on, dog.
And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it's like I want to focus, but I want her here somewhere in proximity so I can just be in her presence.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
But you know,
Also,
some,
don't confuse detachment styles with attachment styles.
true.
Because if there's somebody you're detached from, then you probably can't define an attachment style in that relationship.
You just confused the hell out of me.
'Cause there are
I'm glad you got
I
it.
kind of get what she's saying,
I didn't.
but
Hey,
she
I
going.
just
She
didn't-
is going into
or
another
break it
area.
down.
She's going into another area.
When Bruce talked about the attachments,
I hope y'all can hear her.
Yeah, we're not talking to ourselves. We're actually talking to the producer.
Right.
So
like Bruce talked about, will Victor use Bruce as an example
Right.
of how he treat me
Right,
in comparison to somebody else.
right.
Right. When we talk about relationships, some relationships are not active relationships to even define an attachment style in that relationship.
To it,
So
right.
you can't really compare relationships that he doesn't have right now to our relationship. But anyone you may be in a relationship with that you're attached to,
Right.
you can define an attachment style in that relationship. So
Okay.
they
Okay.
but
don't
Okay.
have the same efficacy,
Okay.
or he's not passionate.
I know.
He's not
She's
passionate
showing
in
out.
certain areas where he probably don't value that relationship.
Oh,
I mean,
so
I
doubt
don't
about
want
it.
to say value it,
No,
but
you can say that.
It's just not the same level of commitment.
and it
Yeah.
won't be because
Yeah.
you're not concerned.
Yeah, facts.
But now, would that
Attachment
be
style don't really matter in those cases.
right? Well, but would that be, say, for example, people that, say, for example, he dealt with in the past that he no longer is attached to,
Right.
or future who he hasn't attached to?
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So if it's somebody from the past, then at that point in time, there was a style,
It was.
right? And so I think I'm not sure, but maybe that's what Vic was.
Somebody said I'm preaching.
Touching on.
No, I'm gonna tell you, I like what you're saying because, like, you know, me and Dad, we talk
That's
about
Bezel.
everything, right? So there was I'm not gonna say a few. There was a relationship
Mhm,
that she had mentioned, right?
mhm.
And it may have been more than one, but I know she mentioned it at least one time. So I'm gonna stick to
Mhm.
that point where she talked about it could have been a relationship that she could have culminated,
Okay.
right? She could have
Mhm.
cultivated, but
Because of my attachment style.
because of her attachment styles, it was avoidance,
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You follow what I'm
so
saying?
I'm avoided. Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
we haven't
so-
even gotten to yet.
which we haven't
So
got.
that's a good segue.
That's
So let's
it's
cue up-
two different styles.
So
of
let's
that.
Exactly.
let's go
So-
into the avoidance attachment.
Yeah,
style.
absolutely. So the avoidance attachment was the third one, right? And this is where my wife identified herself at,
Okay.
right?
Don't
So
judge
please
Hmm.
don't, because I didn't. So you don't have you better not.
So you said it.
So-
Bruce Bailey said it with his chest. You
hear
better
me.
not.
You better not. So here are the characteristics of avoidant attachment. Those with avoidant attachments often prioritize independence.
Pause.
Mm.
Say it again, please. Please say that one again.
it.
Those with avoidant attachment often prioritize independence.
Mhm.
And they may feel uncomfortable with emotional closeness,
Mm.
often suppressing their needs.
Mhm.
So good, bro. So good.
Yeah.
So I
It's like
here's what I can tell
I
you.
might throw a little flame out there, get a fire going, but it's a lot of women.
Bro.
It's a lot of women.
Bro.
You know what? Though? So
And men, don't
No,
be-
So-
trust me.
that was me prior to my relationship.
Wow.
It was absolutely
See?
absolutely arm's
Yeah.
Combination.
length. It's absolutely arm's length.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
We-
By any
we
means
not doing that.
necessary, we avoiding.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
When I felt people getting close, I was like,
You want a mic? You get the mic tonight?
nah, they can hit me.
Okay.
When I felt people getting close, I was just like, nah, I just didn't want that at the moment.
I'll one up you. Getting that close isn't an option in the beginning, so you might not want
I made
to.
myself seem unavailable.
Yeah, I said it out loud.
Hmm.
Like I was very much. I had limits and walls in fairness. I would tell any woman that I interacted with, you meeting my daughters is not an option.
Right.
Flat out.
That was me.
You
Me
understand
and my
what I'm
kids
saying?
wasn't an option at all.
That's correct.
You
At all.
you being in and staying in my home is not an option because that's where my daughters are.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Bruce ain't see the rest of my house for a minute.
I ain't want you. There's one room I cared about, Doc. There's one room I cared about.
You gotta get past the kitchen and the living room.
Like, what's down that hall? Yeah, no matter. Make the step. Make the step check.
so
You know
that
Don't
That's-
get no
That's
food.
hilarious.
That's-
That's hilarious.
that's
Bruh.
interesting. And I think that's a really dope illustration of how
I'm sorry. I'm
right.
still on what she talking about.
I know.
Let me tell you,
It's hilarious, though,
it was
bruh.
hilarious.
It's
'Cause look,
hilarious.
real quick. First time,
You had to be there.
you had to be there. First time we sat and laid and chilled in the living room, I was like, okay, this is different. It's kinda nice out here.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you got a balcony out there?
You tell me everything. I just listen to her on the phone like,
Bro, I was like, hey, I was told I was cool.
Oh,
I was
man.
cool,
Right.
bro.
hey, look,
That's hilarious.
for a second, when he say she moved like a dude,
Yo,
We know.
she
Right.
moves like
We
a
know.
dude.
she's serious,
It
bro.
is hilarious.
It
It is hilarious.
It's wild.
She
yo.
moves like a dude for real.
Seriously.
It's
My
hilarious.
fault, bro. I
No,
ain't
no,
mean
no.
that.
No.
I was nervous when he was in the living room. Nervous to give him a little bit more inches. I'm like,
Because you don't want to
that's-
say
that's
something
that-
that you're not saying.
But no, not only that, that too.
Yeah.
But that's that avoidance though.
It is though.
Yeah.
Because okay, go ahead.
No.
That's-
You on to something. So even to that point where it is there's certain things you don't do because you don't want to say something or suggest something that you're not trying to say.
Mhm.
Right. Like I'm not about to play with you. And while it sounds harsh, you don't have that level of significance to me. And I'm not trying to tell you that because I'm not gonna back it up with any action that's gonna reiterate that anyway.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
But I also think, which is a great segue to this fourth attachment style,
Mm-hmm.
which is disorganized attachment,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now,
Can we
now he-
pause? Can we pause
yeah,
for a
absolutely.
second?
Go
Pause
ahead,
for a
go
second.
ahead, go ahead.
Because with the avoidance, there's also it's two within one. There's the dismissive and there's the fearful.
Mhm.
We didn't go into that.
We'll talk about it. Go into it, Doc.
Right.
What we talking about?
no. But so dismissive is the one that more so relates to the independence,
Right.
with pushing the independence. But the fearful one, it's like I guess they're fearful of being hurt, fearful of being left, or whatever the case may be. But they also tend to reassure their feelings for you, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Mhm.
You know, I love you, but they still stand you up, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because they're avoiding, it's like they're saying that they love you, but they're avoiding really the attachment. They're really avoiding getting
Or the fear of the loss of the attachment,
there you go.
which is
So,
major
so
too.
Yeah.
it's ironic that you say that because this avoidance attachment comes through and by development when
Mhm.
caregivers are distant or unresponsive,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Really teaching the child or the person
Mm-hmm.
to rely on themselves and
Mhm.
avoid vulnerability,
Right.
right? And we often see that
Don't want to be vulnerable.
you don't want to be vulnerable because
Some of
then
us
you
like,
got to
stronger than that. You can get through this. You don't need to cry.
yeah,
Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can make
That's
it.
dude
So
like all
then
by
when
himself.
yeah, and then
Exactly.
It's weird to feel vulnerable.
yeah,
Because you was never allowed to be vulnerable.
But that goes back to a lot of men. While a lot of
Facts.
men
That's what we talk
are
about.
not
Facts.
in tune.
Facts.
You know what I
Absolutely
mean?
we talk about.
yeah,
And that's why a lot of times relationships can be very difficult for a lot of us. now
absolutely.
No doubt
because of how we were raised with
Yep.
certain things.
No
Yep.
doubt about it.
Which
You know
is
what I
why
mean?
it's important for us to continuously
Information.
and perpetually provide this information, this data, so people can understand, where they are with certain and with certain relationships. So this fourth one,
Don't forget about you gotta know who you are to know where you're getting to. It's like a compass.
Yeah.
Identify where you are.
identify where you are.
Break that down.
You say you want to go here, but you don't even know where you are.
Exactly.
When you walk in the mall, they got these different maps, and every map will tell you exactly where you are.
Everybody got ways now.
Everybody got ways.
You gotta get ways for your
You
life.
gotta start something.
You gotta get ways for your life.
The mall don't have ways.
You gotta get ways for your
Yeah,
life.
fact.
You know what I mean?
Ways
So
all
this
the time.
fourth one, disorganized attachment.
Mhm.
Now, I find this to be the one probably most people who have not yet reached the secure attachment probably reside at.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I say that for this reason. It says this style combines anxious
Mhm.
and avoidant traits.
Yep.
Where the individual craves closeness, but watch this, fears intimacy due to trust issues.
So to your point, that one, and I should have read this before, the key sign for the disorganized, if people stay in a relationship, they tend to run hot and cold, right?
Mhm.
There can be a lot of emotional dysregulation, up and down, close, far,
Mhm.
and this behavior can become very confusing for the other person in the relationship. If you have this style, you do want a relationship, but struggle with trust.
Mhm.
You're afraid of being rejected and may keep a partner at arm's length in an attempt to be self-protective. So that's the one when we were looking at the clip. That's the come here. No, stay over.
Exactly.
Right.
Come here.
right,
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's very interesting.
With the black hat talk.
First of all, that is not me. I'm gonna put that one out there. That is not me. Die.
I'm Christian committed.
She's terrible. No,
But the Quran says this.
no, actually, let's look at it this way. You can want to get close to a person and get to know certain things and so on and so forth. But then once you get close enough, it's kind of like you start to learn maybe they don't want to meet you halfway. They don't want to listen to your side or your perspective. And then my opinion when it comes to things like that is if you're in a relationship or you're working towards one, you're trying to build a foundation together.
Right on.
It's not just allowing one person to lay the foundation.
Right on.
And some people mistake that when you try to give your input or hey, well, this is how I see it.
Yeah.
If I'm married or getting married or whatever the case may be, and I go out and I purchase a house, how dare me to go and furnish and decorate the whole house by myself without any of the input
Right on.
of the woman?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just how I see it.
I think this is one that is likely a lot of men deal with. Right?
Facts.
Especially with
And women, bro.
No,
And I'm saying
you're
it
right.
because
You're absolutely
they are
right.
super
In
emotional
a different
Yeah.
way,
in a
and
different way.
and depending
I
on
agree.
how they move, right? And so I heard it said not too long ago that And I agreed with this, that men love more genuinely and authentically. And that sounds insulting.
I know.
However,
not
Wow.
generally, this is a generalization, so forgive me, but little girls grow up thinking, right? Princess, meet the prince, right? We're going to get married and live happily ever after. And they look to find whatever dude, man, fits that bill. We don't move like that. We do what we do. We're out here moving how we are. And we come across her not looking for her, generally speaking. And it's like, damn, what I'm going to do now?
But you
Go
know,
ahead.
real quick, it's interesting that you say that, right? So a woman makes in her mind or creates in her mind this image or this vision of the type of guy that she wants to be with, marry, so on and so forth, right? And when she finally comes across a guy who she feels as though she wants to be with, she's expecting him to live up to that which she created in her head.
Right on.
You know what I mean? The thing about with men, a lot of times we try to live up to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
B, we not getting her a mic, B. Not this week.
Not at all. Not at all. We try to live up to that, right?
Right.
I don't think women try to live up to what we expect because they feel a lot of times we're trying to change them. And not to, it's not, I'm not being insulting or anything like that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I'm just saying
I'm not.
a lot of
I'm
times,
not riding with him.
listen, a lot of times I think women are so comfortable in who they are at that moment that they, you know, why do I gotta change? This is who you marry.
I'm gonna push back a little bit.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I say that because I think in a lot of cases, I agree with you to a certain extent, but I think in a lot of cases, women want to change, but need to find a trustworthy mate to change for, or that will help her build trust patterns toward change.
But if you getting married or you in a relationship, you already trust that person to some
Not
degree.
necessarily, though.
No, I'm
That's
just
what I'm
saying to
saying.
some, but I'm saying to some
So let me
degree.
give
right on.
let me give you, right, for example, right, we talk about that, for example, who identified herself as this avoidance,
Mhm.
right? Now, if you go through your life, you 10, 11, 12 years down the road, you still avoidance,
Right.
but yet you had some responsible relationships.
Mhm.
It's not only something in you, it's also something in the people that you have dealt with that have not allowed you to get to the point where you've made them trustworthy enough to say, I'm gonna be totally vulnerable to whatever it is this relationship is about to offer.
I'm gonna land somewhere in the middle between both of you, and I'm leaning more towards Caprice in this regard, and we have to own this. I think, in general, when it comes to relationships and interacting with the other sex and being ready for relationships, men are far more cognizant of who they are, how they are, and what they need to do.
Oh, I agree with that whole
Because generally speaking,
I agree with that.
they're very comfortable with letting us know what our shortcomings and our opportunities are. Where generally speaking, we just eat that. That most of the time, men aren't
Say it again,
saying,
Vic.
Pause.
Say it
Yes.
again.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Man, we you understand, we've seen it before where our actions or our shortcomings result in the women that we love being upset, being disappointed, crying, whatever the case may be, versus when we experience that, generally we just keep it inside.
Facts.
We
Right.
chalk it up. We
Right.
don't want to upset her. We don't want to give one more thing. We don't want to put one more. We do ourselves a disservice because in the process, we're not teaching her what we need and appropriately how to love us. And so we have to own that. But I think we're far more cognizant of our shortcomings than they are. So we go into it knowing, and I think that's
I would agree with
that's
that.
some of the come here, no go away. Because when we
yeah.
do fall in love, especially to your point, if we feel like we don't measure up. So for some dudes, it may be, you know what, I don't have the level of education she has,
Mhm.
or I'm not accomplished as she is, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I love her and I don't want to let her go. So let me do enough to keep her close.
Right.
But at the same time, let me keep my distance.
Mhm.
So whatever, till I get right, or whatever the case,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. So that's just kind of my
That's a good point. I don't disagree with that one bit.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that one totilla. I think it's important, to your point, for us all to be cognizant of those things
Yeah.
in those moments,
Yes,
because and then we got to kind of wrap up.
we do.
Right,
But-
right.
And it's actually a great segue to some of the tips that I want to share with you guys today on what I believe the most poignant point
Yeah.
of this conversation was, and Di made it off camera with no mic,
No doubt about it.
which she said ultimately the goal is to move to that secure attachment style.
Absolutely.
That should be
our goal
your ultimate goal
for you and the person
for
you love.
you and the person you love.
But that definitely should be the goal. But a lot of people won't get that. And I'm gonna say this. Anybody out there that's feeling any kind of way about not knowing where you are, where you stand, how you feel, this, that, and the other, seek counseling.
No doubt about it.
That's
Seek
good.
counseling.
That's good.
It's
Capri.
absolutely
It can-
good.
That's
They
good.
can direct you in many ways, and it can get you out of the space that you've been stuck in
Mhm.
for however long you've been stuck there. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna put it to you like this. It's gonna sound a little funny. It might be a little, but I'm gonna say it like this. What would you do if you had gonorrhea? You go to the doctor, right?
Whoa. Whoa, bro. I put
Hey,
my
look,
head
hey,
down
look,
for
look,
2
look.
seconds
I
to
said
write.
that. But that was
No,
for the shock
You're
value.
not gonna hit the blinker.
Look,
Like,
look,
stop
hey,
it.
Give me a warning, dog.
Hey, look. I had to shock because some people might have been sleeping. They might have
Remember
been
the
sleeping.
last time I heard that damn term?
But in other words,
Dr.
my point
Brown.
is-
Dr. Brown, you still
my
Yeah.
point. I'm saying this, and like I said I was going to say this to lighten it up a little bit. But I'm saying is, if any type of illness that you may have, you're gonna
Bro,
go
you
to
went
the
from
doctor.
illness to gonorrhea.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
an illness. But my point is, like I said, if you have whatever type of ailment that's
Right
affecting
on.
you, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go to the doctor. If you're
Absolutely.
smart, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Mentally, a lot of times we don't think that we're sick. So I'm saying this to say it's nothing wrong if you got a little fog up there and you got to get it cleared out. Sometimes growing up with so many different issues, especially in the environments that a lot of us have grown up in, whether you want to accept it or not, being Black in America, we have all faced certain types of trauma.
Yeah,
So seek the help. Some may need more than others.
facts.
You know what I mean? And this isn't to say you're going to be in therapy for 20 years. You might only need 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, seek the help. Get the help.
I think that's a great segue to leaving you guys with some actionable steps to help move towards secure attachment. There are, let me just say this, these steps involve self-awareness, which we
Mhm.
always talk about,
Mhm. Always.
healthy communication, which we
Yes.
always talk about, and self-compassion, right? The
Yep.
key ingredients for creating stronger and a more balanced relationship. Okay.
Mhm.
Number one, I just said it. Build self-awareness,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And reflect on patterns.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's super important. Build self-awareness and reflect on patterns. Notice patterns, like if you tend to pull away when things get serious or need constant reassurance, that's a pattern that you need to focus on,
Yep.
Yep.
right? And it's going to help you understand where you are, but more importantly, again, how to move towards now this secure attachment. All right. Number two, challenge negative beliefs.
That's good. That's very good.
Challenge.
That's powerful.
Yeah. Did you want to? I see you.
No, go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
wheels
Keep going.
are like-
No,
okay,
because I don't want to get us too off track. Go ahead. Keep
All
going.
right. So question, it's important because here's what we've learned, right?
Yeah.
We live in the body.
Yep.
We have a soul,
Come on.
but we actually are spirit,
Facts.
right?
Yes.
The soul is the difference between the spirit and the body.
Absolutely.
It's flesh that we live in.
Yes.
In this soul will determine if you're gonna thrive in this spirit realm,
Yep.
or you're gonna move in this natural realm,
You're talking right.
right?
Yes.
So it's important to understand that you question negative assumptions like people will always have, or I can trust or I can't trust anyone.
Absolutely.
That's something that commonly we probably have all dealt with that.
No
I
doubt about
can't,
that.
I don't know if I can really,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can trust this person,
Absolutely.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You second guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to find a way to mitigate that feeling, because what will happen is it'll now put you in a position where in some cases you'll have I think you used this term a few weeks ago, inflicted pain. When you inflict certain situations,
Sabotage.
self-sabotage. That's
Self-sabotage,
exactly
right.
what I'm looking for.
Right.
You have this self-sabotage type of spirit that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With every good thing, because of your past, now seems like it'll never be what you expected it to be.
And so to that point, right? So when we realize we're not just talking about this because it's what's going around social media,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but whether we knew what it was, and because truth be told, prior to a couple of weeks ago, none of us knew what attachment styles were,
Mhm.
right? But we've identified that it's important for us to kind of wrap
Yeah.
our arms around this thing, because if you have the intention for loving someone, not the way that you think you should love them, but the way that they ask and need you to,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I mean? So I made a commitment
Bro.
early on in my relationship to say, I desire to love you out loud, right? Which I got, which is a coin that I turned from you and die, like literally for everybody to see. Like, you shouldn't have to guess, you shouldn't have to know, you shouldn't have to assume, you shouldn't have to he doesn't say this, he doesn't do this, but I know he loves me. No, that's bull crap, right?
Yeah.
And so whichever way you're going to receive it best is how I'm committing to love you, and understanding that you have to know who you are and who you're with in order to do that. Otherwise, you're always going to stay in the weeds.
Which is why it's equally important to replace those negative beliefs,
Absolutely.
thoughts, with now affirmation of positive beliefs and thoughts about yourself, telling yourself, hey, I'm worthy of love.
Yeah. And it's a process. It definitely is a process.
I'm worthy of love,
Look,
man.
you're lucky enough.
I can trust others and set healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
And
It's just that simple. I can
the-
trust you,
no
but I
doubt
can
about
set
it.
some boundaries.
No, but one of the principles of our platform, we talk about purpose,
Yes.
right? Because here's the thing, you know for certain that God himself purposed you to be with your wife. You have the sense of assuredness of the woman that you're with. Even if that's the case, it's not always going to be easy.
Yes.
So what the hell are we doing if you're with somebody, if you're not certain you should be with them?
Facts.
Like, time is too short to play. I just saw a homie of mine, a homegirl of mine. She was so transparent. She was talking about this relationship she was in with somebody that she truly loved but had no business being with.
Powerful.
The relationship was awesome. They got along, but she was absolutely certain. Star, shout out. I hope you see this. She was absolutely certain that this was somebody she did not belong with, and she walked away from it because she knew that everything was peaches and cream roses, right? And so know who you are supposed to be with, right? And then do the work to know who you are and who they are. Because you need to be able to show up and love them in the spaces and the places of their life where they don't have it all together.
Yes.
And that's the most powerful. It is the places that they're insecure in. It is the places that their mother or their father didn't necessarily nurture, that might have them doing something or saying something that gets on your nerve, that your love for them is really clearly most demonstrated.
That's so good, bro.
Yeah.
Which leads to this next one.
Yeah.
The next tip is communicate openly
Absolutely.
Mhm.
and set boundaries.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how often we run into people who are in relationships that have no set boundaries, bro.
Facts.
And here's the crazy thing to me. They think they do. That'd be crazy to me, Caprice.
But you know, sometimes, you know, folks are afraid to put their boundaries out there.
Facts.
They're afraid.
I
And-
so
and-
agree.
And then when it comes to communication styles, because I've run into this myself, you know, communication styles are different.
Yeah.
And if you communicate different, sometimes people think that, oh, if you communicate different, that means that you don't belong with that person because they don't understand you,
Right.
you don't understand them. It's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's that desire. It takes that desire that, you know, to work on, to build. When you build and when you can come together with a person, for example, that, I'm because coming from
You're not about to say
construction
nothing
and
else
things
about
like
going.
No, cut it out, cut it out. No, coming from, you know, engineering and construction background and things of that
Right.
nature, there's a lot of Latinos, for example, that work on construction sites that don't speak English.
Okay.
But then you have Americans who are running the job, the
Right.
foremans and so on and so forth. How are they communicating what they need done to build this building and get it done?
Right.
The thing is, it's that desire, that determination to get the job done, to work together. And as long as there's that desire on both ends, the job can get done. A lot of times people run into a person that does not have the same drive or desire to build that.
I'm gonna take it a step further,
ahead.
and I'm gonna give you
Go
an
ahead, go
alley
ahead.
oop to close us out. So when you were talking about no boundaries, what I wrote down is that no boundaries is often the byproduct of no expectations.
Facts.
Mhm.
And people are in relationships
Mhm.
not wanting a damn thing but to be in the relationship. They aren't
Mhm.
building anything, they aren't
Yeah.
doing anything together.
Yeah.
They're just with somebody. So it goes back to
Preaching.
purpose.
Yeah.
If you look at it, man, one of the things that I hate the most about social media is how often you see people displeased and talking about the people around them, talking about not trusting people and keep your circle small because you don't know when people have your best interest. I don't know those people. I don't move with those people. And so there is no relationship that I have that I don't have expectations of. I know beyond the shadow of a doubt, if on my way home, if I caught a flat tire, I could hit one of y'all up and be like, hey.
Right.
No question.
Right.
So in relationships,
Powerful.
right, oftentimes there are people that are going to go to sleep tonight with a person that they really don't know what
Yeah.
they want or what they're building with that person other than to wake up to them tomorrow.
I think so. To that point, to that third tip, communicate openly and set boundaries. You got to practice expressing your needs,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
right?
Fellas.
Partner.
Right.
You know, I mean, that is so important.
And don't wait till you get mad.
Yeah, and it has to be in a healthy, to your point, a healthy, clear way, even if it feels uncomfortable at first.
Absolutely.
It's important because I think in those moments, not only are you setting an expectation and setting boundaries, it's also a measuring stick
Yes.
to how far you really or how committed you want to be with this relationship.
No doubt about it.
Being
You follow what I'm saying?
uncomfortable is growth.
No doubt
Being
about it.
uncomfortable is growth.
Being uncomfortable is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, learn emotional regulation techniques. Let me say that again.
So
Learn emotional regulation techniques. Right. That's important because a lot of times what we feel may not actually be what's actually going on.
our emotions betray us
Emotion will be
all the
crazy
time,
every
All the
single time.
especially fear.
Yeah.
Anxiety is a byproduct
Feelings
of
are
fear.
facts.
Feelings are not facts.
Feelings are not
They're
They're
facts.
not facts. But but we perceive them as being facts.
Facts.
I felt like I did. No, you didn't. Stop.
I get called out
Stop.
on that all the time.
And your
Stop
perception,
assuming.
your perception
Stop
is not my
assuming.
damn reality.
It's not.
either.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
Right. Number
That's
5,
not-
choose supportive and secure relationships.
Mhm.
You literally just touched on that, right?
Absolutely.
Surround yourself with people who are reliable,
Absolutely.
emotionally available,
Absolutely.
who are respectful of boundaries. Being with secure individuals can help model what healthy attachment looks like.
Change your circle.
Change your circle.
Change your circle. Change your circumstances.
Yes, and then reinforce positive behaviors.
Absolutely.
You gotta change some of these dysfunctional behaviors,
No doubt
man.
about it.
They
No doubt.
It's
about
work
Whoa.
though. It's work though, and a lot
It's
of
a
people
lot
just
of
like they
work, bro.
lazy at their 9 to 5. They lazy in relationships.
it's
So
it's easier
gotta
said
put-
than it's easier said than done.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Everybody be married.
Everybody be married.
All right,
Right.
So it's funny because all of us were confused as
I got
hell
like
when we
2
got
more.
this topic at first.
Definitely were. I got 2 more.
Tie a bow on it.
Yes, sir. Develop self-compassion and embrace growth. And then lastly,
Self-compassion.
seek therapy for
He
deeper
said it.
insight.
He said it.
Silver said it. Silver well said, therapy is healthcare.
It is.
Yep. It definitely
We like that, Silver. Thank you. Appreciate you
Yep.
tuning in. It
Yep.
really it really is about growing together. It really is about
Facts.
leaning in. I'm proud that we're in a place in a space where these are the conversations
Yes.
that we're having, while other
Adult
platforms are
conversation.
pointing the finger and talking about where we can't take y'all out on first dates.
cheesecake.
We're talking about
Everybody like a good cheesecake.
Jasmine's what? The happy hour?
shout out to my lady that actually likes the
Tiger
Cheesecake
wings.
Factory.
Hey, I like
Tiger
Cheesecake
wings.
Factory.
Love and
for the win
appreciate
last
you.
week. Last week, Cheesecake Factory for the win. I don't care what y'all talking about. My baby was super satisfied at the Cheesecake Factory.
Avocado egg rolls are banging.
Listen,
Oh yeah.
Banging.
okay.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, again, we never take it for granted when you join us. Thank you everybody who tuned in live, whether you're seeing this on the replay. We've been the King's Cutting Board. Please know that everything that we've talked about this evening is with the express purpose to encourage Black men and Black women to love each other deeply. We are dope, especially together. I've been Victor Vaughn. The gentleman to my left goes by.
Bruce Bailey, choir boy.
The gentleman all the way to our left, Nino Brown, all dressed in black, goes by.
Caprice cake.
Our executive producer
Chico.
off camera goes by Coach Princess. We're the Kings of Cutting Board. We love and appreciate y'all.
When we
Listen,
back, man.
not next Thursday, the Thursday following, whatever that date. Wait, is that thing?
Every other Thursday.
Ooh, no. Oh,
I'm getting
every
my
other
dates
Thursday.
bro,
mixed
let me
up.
check real quick.
Every
That's
other
the
third.
28th.
That's Thanksgiving.
That's Thanksgiving.
All right, so we'll figure.
So we're gonna eat with turkey and nah.
Maybe we should do a Zoom.
No, you want
Like
to do
wherever we are, just do like a Zoom. We'll
we
think
could
about
do
it.
a Wednesday or something like
Nah, I
that.
got a
Good,
gig.
good.
No,
Oh,
bro. We
Can't.
we down the waterfront Wednesday. What's this about? The
Oh, yeah, the
27th?
waterfront
Good
Wednesday.
point. Yeah, we at
We
at
live. We
Boy,
up.
plug.
We at Cambria.
What time
We
is
at
that?
Cambria.
Cambria, baby.
If
Hold on, what time
listen,
is that though?
Cambria,
if you
happy hour.
if you
Like
in
6
or
to 9,
around
bro.
the DC
Well,
area,
Dude,
I was getting ready to say, look, this is what I was getting ready to
might go
say.
live down there, okay?
That's what I was getting ready to
I
say.
don't know if the environment allow early.
But so
It
we
is
may
now.
not necessarily have to do. Why are we doing this right now?
We figured out. listen,
I was
you
gonna go all
are-
the way-
right.
you are in or
Yeah, we
around the
did.
DC area now, or Wednesday the 27th, Rhythm City, one of the
Yeah,
dope
come check out a
bands
man.
in the city. They don't call him Choir Boy for nothing. Bruce Bailey will be on the front line. Shout out to Dollar Bill. Shout out to
Shell.
Shelly Shell.
Yes, sir.
All the
Brand
whole
new edition.
Rhythm City. If y'all want
Peeps.
great music around great people in a dope environment, Cambria Hotel. What's that? North? That's southeast,
The
northeast,
Southwest.
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 Southwest
Waterfront.
waterfront,
Navy
dope
Yard.
environment. Don't meet us there, beat us there. Pause. It's gonna be a good look. And with that said, we love and appreciate you all,
Yes,
whether you're
indeed.
looking live or on the replay. Thank you. We don't take your presence lightly. We will see y'all.
Hey,
All we want is peace.
all we want is some peace
And
and a
peace.
peace.
And a peace.
Peace.
Peace. Later, y'all.